You pull up to the gas station, you look at the price board, and for just a second, you just stare at it. You blink, you look again, because surely that number can't be right. But it is right, and the worst part isn't the price itself. It's that quiet, creeping feeling that something bigger is happening, and you have absolutely no idea what it is. You swipe your card, you pump the gas, and you drive away, and you tell yourself, it'll come back down soon. That's what everyone says. That's what everyone always says. Meanwhile, somewhere on the other side of the world, a decision was made in a boardroom or a government building that just quietly rerouted your financial future without asking your permission. My name is Mark, and I spend way too much time thinking about money and the psychology behind wealth, specifically why smart, hard-working people keep losing ground no matter how much they earn. And today, we're talking about something that affects every single person watching this: oil prices, what's really driving them, and exactly what you should be doing about it right now. If this is your first time here, welcome. So hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because this channel is where finance finally starts making sense. And once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it, because oil isn't just a commodity, it's a hidden tax on everything you do, everything you buy, and every dollar you think you're saving. Ever wonder why money seems to slip through your fingers no matter what? You get a raise, you cut a subscription, you eat out less, and somehow your bank account still feels exactly the same. Here's the answer nobody gives you. Oil prices don't just affect your gas tank, they are baked into the price of your groceries, your Amazon packages, your electricity bill, your morning coffee. When oil goes up by 20%, you don't just pay more at the pump, you pay more for literally everything that moves, grows, gets manufactured, or gets delivered, which is, let's be honest, everything. Most people think wealth is about income, but it's really about psychology, specifically the psychology of not seeing the invisible leaks that quietly drain your purchasing power every single month. And right now, oil prices are doing something that most people haven't prepared for, haven't studied, and frankly haven't even noticed, because it happens slowly, then suddenly. If you ignore this one habit, the habit of ignoring macro forces like oil, it quietly sabotages your future every month, compounding into a financial disadvantage you might not feel for years. Think of it like a slow puncture in your tire. You keep driving, it feels fine, then one day, flat tire on the highway, and the only question is, how long did you ignore the warning signs? So before we get into what you should actually do, let's break down how this system works, because the mechanics are simpler than you think and more dangerous than you imagine. Oil doesn't just power cars, it powers the entire global supply chain. The trucks that carry your food, the ships that carry your products, the factories that make your clothes and electronics. When oil is cheap, everything is cheap, or at least cheaper. When oil is expensive, inflation doesn't just creep in through the gas station, it crawls through every aisle of every store you've ever walked into. Think about this for a second. That $5 coffee you buy every morning, part of that price is fuel for the truck that delivered the beans. Part of it is energy to roast them, store them, and refrigerate the milk. Your $120 a month grocery bill quietly becomes $140, then $160, not because you're buying more, but because oil-driven inflation is running in the background like an app you forgot to close. And here's where it gets interesting. The organizations that control oil production, primarily OPEC+, aren't trying to destroy your budget, they're just trying to maximize their own revenue, and those two things happen to conflict violently. When OPEC+ cuts production, supply drops. When supply drops and demand stays the same or grows, prices go up. This is Economics 101. But what nobody teaches you is what to do when it's your life being squeezed. Right now, global demand is rising, driven by Asia, by recovering industries, by a world that didn't stop needing energy just because a few years were chaotic. Supply is constrained, prices are climbing. What you're about to learn changes everything about daily spending, because once you understand that oil is a hidden multiplier on your cost of living, you stop asking why is everything so expensive and start asking, what do I do about it? Here's the psychological trap that gets almost everyone. We treat gas prices as an isolated expense. We compare this week to last week, not this decade to the last one. That narrow thinking keeps you stuck on the financial hamster wheel, running harder every month, working more hours, cutting small luxuries, and somehow still falling slightly further behind. Most people never notice this until it's too late, that the real damage of rising oil prices isn't the $20 extra at the pump, it's the $400 extra per month across your entire lifestyle that you never see as a single number. Add it up. Higher groceries, pricier shipping, more expensive flights, elevated utility bills, inflated restaurant prices. That's not one expense, that's a lifestyle tax that compounds quietly every single month. And then there's the status trap. Oil prices rise, inflation bites, and what do most people do? They finance a bigger car because they need the reliability. They upgrade their lifestyle because it feels like everyone else is. These are depreciating liabilities masquerading as necessities. Vehicles, gadgets, upgrades, things that go down in value from the moment you own them, while your actual wealth goes nowhere. It quietly drains your potential without warning, because you're not just spending money on the thing, you're spending the future returns that money could have generated for decades. A $40,000 car financed at 7% over 5 years doesn't cost you $40,000. It costs you closer to $47,000 in payments. And if you'd invested that same amount, it could be worth $130,000 in 20 years. That's not a car. That's a retirement account you traded away. Here's what most people believe. I can't control oil prices, so there's nothing I can do. And I understand that instinct. It feels true, but it is one of the most expensive beliefs you can hold. And this is where most people completely mess it up, because the response to rising macro costs isn't paralysis or panic spending, it's strategic repositioning, and that is 100% within your control. Let's talk about the illusion of arrival. Most people think, when things settle down, I'll start saving seriously. When rates drop, when prices stabilize, when life calms down, then I'll invest. But that moment never arrives. The world is always in flux, and every month you wait is compounding against you, not for you. The people who build wealth don't wait for calm, they build in chaos. Here's the painful truth about what everyone thinks is smart spending. Cutting your streaming subscription saves you $15 a month. Meanwhile, not having an investment strategy during an inflationary cycle costs you $500 a month in lost purchasing power. The math is brutal, and it's real. A $15 saving feels like discipline, but ignoring the $500 erosion because it's invisible feels comfortable. And that comfort, sustained over years, is exactly how the middle class stays exactly where it is. Once you see the real numbers, you'll never look at your habits the same way. Because the question isn't, can I afford this? The question is, what am I not building by choosing this instead? When oil-driven inflation runs at even 5% annually, a dollar today is worth about 61 cents in 10 years. Your paycheck stays the same, your savings account pays you 0.5%, inflation runs at 5%. You are mathematically going backward while sitting perfectly still. Now this is where everything changes, because we're not just talking about gas prices anymore. We're talking about a once-in-a-generation shift in global energy economics and how you position yourself inside it. Historically, every major oil shock, 1973, 1979, 1990, 2008, 2022, was followed by a period of economic restructuring. Some people got crushed, others quietly built extraordinary wealth. The difference wasn't luck, it was awareness. When oil prices spike, energy companies profit, commodity producers profit. Inflation-resistant assets, real estate, certain commodities, dividend-paying infrastructure stocks tend to hold value while everything else erodes. This is the tipping point few ever recognize. Oil price shocks don't just threaten your spending, they create an asymmetric opportunity for people who understand where money flows when energy becomes expensive. Think about the compounding effects. If you start redirecting even $300 a month, not by sacrificing quality of life, but by eliminating the invisible leaks we talked about, into inflation-resistant assets, here's what happens. At a 10% average annual return, $300 a month becomes over $200,000 in 20 years. That's not a fantasy, that's the S&P 500's historical average, available to anyone with a brokerage account and the patience to leave it alone. The real shift isn't financial, it's psychological. It's moving from a survival mindset where you react to prices and feel powerless to a growth mindset where you see macro forces as information that tells you where to position your money. And suddenly, all your decisions take on a new meaning. The car you finance, the subscription you forget about, the savings account that's quietly losing to inflation, they all become choices, not obligations. And choices can be changed. This is what choosing permanent freedom for temporary pleasure actually looks like in practice. Not deprivation, not extreme frugality, just a clear-eyed understanding that every dollar has a job, and right now, most people's dollars are working against them. The $20,000 milestone matters here too. Research consistently shows that once individuals accumulate their first $20,000 in invested assets, the psychological shift is profound, from feeling financially fragile to feeling financially capable. That threshold changes behavior. So here's where we land. Oil prices don't have to be a threat to your financial future. They can be a wake-up call, a signal, a moment of clarity that separates people who react from people who prepare. You are not powerless here. You never were. The system is complex, yes. The macro forces are real. But every single day, you make dozens of small decisions that either compound towards freedom or compound towards the financial hamster wheel. The survival mindset says, "I'll wait and see." The empowered mindset says, "I see what's happening and I'm going to position myself ahead of it." Both are responses to the same information. Only one builds wealth. Share this with a friend who needs to hear this, because most people are watching prices rise and feeling helpless when what they actually need is a framework for thinking about it clearly. Comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Which part of this hit different for you? Was it the inflation math, the car example, the compounding numbers? Tell me. I read every comment. And don't forget to hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. It genuinely helps this channel reach people who are ready to stop reacting to the economy and start building inside of it.